think that Plot Twist can make the upset happen. They've done it before, but now in the lower bracket, they do face elimination.
This is a bit unexpected. Yes, Dave, a former rogue mage priest, one trick at the European Championship, has now played not only Warlock, but Death Knight. Can he keep this up in this tournament is now the question. Walrix pulls the trigger early on to turn up the heat. The oven is cooking. The Chaos Bolts will be coming out of that oven shortly, and they are definitely going to be devastating.
Yeah, they will be scary indeed. Walrix getting aggressive with the Dark Soul, looking for a fear here, finds it onto Rezus. Numlas with the Way of the Crane is getting really aggressive, but the damage onto Group Therapy isn't that significant yet. The Way of the Crane trying to top off his team. Numlas getting targeted down, having to run away. Definitely not the best situation to be in with that Way of the Crane, finally able to get it in there, top off his team completely. Rezus now with the Touch of Death, as well as the Storm Earth and Fire, looking to get hyper aggressive onto Walrix, but Walrix isn't that scared, still has his unending resolve. He's going to be sitting very pretty right now.
Plot Twist obviously kept their eyes on the earlier stages of the bracket, knowing that Group Therapy lost to We Are Here. We Are Here play Windwalker, Death Knight, Mistweaver, and so far now the pressure is in favor of Plot Twist, so they're stealing the composition from other members of the competition to try and counteract what would have been, I thought, the most threatening team in the tournament, and now Warx and FedEx are under fire.
Yeah, Numlas with no trinket, caught into a fear. Yes, Dave could actually be in a little trouble. Looks like they're trying to pressure him and really test Yes Dave on this unholy Death Knight right now. Will he be able to handle the pressure is the question. So far it's looking good, but with no defensive cooldowns left, Yes Dave, he's actually playing really a defensive, running behind the pillar, trying to avoid FedEx, trying to avoid Walrix, and this is not normally the positioning and the aggression you want to see coming in from a Windwalker Death Knight.
I mean, at the same time, maybe they can out-mana Lontar. We have not seen a non-druid healer against a non-druid healer to determine who actually is more mana efficient, but we have seen Shaman and Mistweaver go for quite an extended period of time, so I'm curious to see which healer can etch ahead in terms of mana. Crowd control secured here by Group Therapy as they set a 3 against 2 toward Yes Dave and Rezus, but before dampening, Death Knights are just so durable with that Death Strike that I think it's unlikely that Yes Dave will go down. Numlas is opting to at least make the safety play, activating Life Cocoon, then casting, then soaking up Spell Lock from Walrix. That was a good adaptation from Numlas in play there, activating a defensive cooldown before opening his School of Magic to be interrupted where he would otherwise not be able to heal, but now actually overextending into a triple stun lock combination. Devastation here for Plot Twist, however Numlas has managed to pull it back together.
Numlas got destroyed on his Way of the Crane. Way of the Crane, he got Mortal Coil the way into a fear, into a leg sweep, into a cap stun. I think he only got one global off, one rising sun kick with that Way of the Crane, but managed to keep his team alive. Numlas, I want to see better timing of that Way of the Crane, but the pressure from Plot Twist has been immense. Walrix getting lower. Really not too much here for Walrix left. Spirit Link to Lontar. In the meantime, Yes Dave getting pressured down with the full hex secured onto Numlas. Nicely done by Lontar into a DR Fear, so that's going to be short duration, into a Mortal Coil. So crowd control from Group Therapy has been good, but Yes Dave, he's just been able to keep himself alive.
More importantly, they got anti-magic zone from Yes Dave before Walrix's Infernal, so that is typically a good answer as the Death Knight to trade. It will now not be available due to a push earlier on, and the Infernals have landed. What is Numlas going to do in this position? Does he just opt to trade before opening a School of Magic? Maledicts are also flying in. They get dispelled, but Numlas is now crowd controlled. Walrix still can't counter pressure. He just can't get these Chaos Bolts rolling with both a Windwalker and a Death Knight in his face. Quite difficult to navigate through the plethora of interrupts available for him. He's managed to maybe finally get it. Nope, denied by the Death Knight. Yes, Dave once again, and pressure is really starting to mount. They knock him out of the earthen walls defense. He's desperately trying to get back in that safety net of that dust cloud, which is a lot more defense than a dust cloud would likely provide in reality, but he will start to stabilize here, and Numlas is etching ahead on mana.
Yep, and Numlas now with the Way of the Crane pushes in, but he gets feared on it once again. Not getting much value. Lontar has to trade out the Spirit Link Totem. If Numlas can get there and get a little bit of additional damage off with that Way of the Crane, it could push Walrix over the edge, but so far Numlas' effectiveness with that Way of the Crane has not been very high. Group Therapy has been dealing with it quite nicely. Yes, Dave now in a little bit of trouble still. Numlas pushing in, gets the triple sweep. FedEx trinkets out, gets a triple sweep of his own. Yes, Dave forced to run away behind the pillar. Has no anti-magic shell for just a couple more seconds. Death Strikes come in to keep him alive. Anti-magic shell gets traded out as well. with Walrus out of line of sight, he's not really able to get too much. Lone Tar sitting far away right now, actually opting to sit down for a drink, completely resetting his mana, and that was such a good read by Lone Tar. Excellently done, keeping group therapy in the game.
2 Ring of Pieces, just punting everybody in the fight out of harm's way and then right back into it. 2 members in trouble here. Lone Tar managed to regenerate full mana, but at the cost of Walrix's defense. I think it's a trade he needed to make. It's a risky one, but he was so far behind otherwise in terms of mana as dampening has just started. Rezus preemptively activating Diffuse Magic, expecting some incoming damage and wanting to stop it before it happens, but now that defense won't be available. A 5-second window if Walrix can sneak in a Chaos Bolt. Not able to get it, instead going for the safer cast, but he's still low, and that risky move to regenerate mana might cost him his life as Walrix dips low. Maledix absorbs a huge heal. Lone Tar gets gripped into the fray. How's he going to deal with this Ring of Peace? He manages to get a nice Spirit Walker's Grace heal off here shortly, and now Walrix is on the counter aggression.
Yeah, Walrix gets healed up by Lone Tar due to that Ascendance. Now Walrix still low though. Rezus and Yesdave have tremendous pressure. Hex secured over on to Numliz. Rezus could be a little bit vulnerable here, but with the double leg sweep coming in, Walrix not really able to get off too much damage. These leg sweeps from Rezus and Numliz have been on point to avoid damage from Walrix and also keep up their pressure at 8% dampening. Things are going to start getting spicy. Lone Tar at around 40% mana right now. Numliz as well. So it's about an even trade, but Lone Tar, keep in mind, he's already drank to full, so likely will lose that mana advantage of the game.
Oh, 1 more second. Rezus manages to connect Touch of Karma, however now overlapped with the anti-magic zone, and Walrix is lining up a couple Chaos Bolts before every Chaos Bolt he gets off during Call Infernal will stack up, increasing damage on the next Chaos Bolt. So if he can get 3 in a row, that's going to be the huge amount. He's gotten 2. He got the 3rd. No, he didn't get the 3rd. Yes, Dave was able to line of sight. Walrix is just snared up in midfield, unable to get that final Chaos Bolt. Thinking about dropping a gateway, though, to jump on the enemy team. Bit of a risky maneuver on his part. Lone Tar says, okay, if the enemy team's going to retreat back and hide, I'm just going to regenerate mana, and he managed to get a lot. That's a huge mistake by Yes Dave. He needs to make sure that he has that ghoul that's chasing Lone Tar, constantly chasing him, micromanaging that to make sure that Lone Tar does not regenerate mana, and because he wasn't, now Lone Tar is in a huge lead.
Yeah, and Walrix is sitting in the middle of the map right now, midfield, just spamming out the Chaos Bolts, looking for a fear here on Numliz. Will he be able to get it? No. Paralysis shuts that down. Rezus in a little trouble with Touch of Death on him. Numliz caught into the fear. Rezus has to keep himself alive. Ring of Peace nicely timed by FedEx, keeping him in place. Walrus closes out the game. That Ring of Peace from FedEx was beautiful, really separating Rezus and Numliz. Positions that might be viable, certain matchups that really haven't been played out too often. They can take a look at that, and that definitely will give them additional knowledge if they're watching the tournament for tomorrow.
I think historically the biggest difference between North America and Europe is that Europe always goes for the safe, consistent play, and North America goes for the we've got no other choice, so let's just run them down as quickly as possible play, and that seems to be the biggest difference between the regions throughout basically the entire history of the game. Rezus leading the charge here for his team, trying to get things going with Touch of Death. Walrix getting knocked downstairs, out of line of sight, and out of the safety of that Earthen Wall Totem, although now looking to reverse pressure, having Infernals dropped. Rain of Fire is a great way to spend your soul shards. It's an instant cast way to buff the damage of your next Chaos Bolt, so Walrix is lining himself up to potentially deal huge damage, but unfortunately there's walking away. If Walrix can get in line of sight, he's connecting the Shadow Fury onto Numliz, follows it into a fear. This Chaos Bolt gets stopped. They need to keep stopping it just a tad bit longer, but Rezus has to trade valuable defensive cooldowns to deny that initial attack. Potentially FedEx could get a kill for his team now with that as an opening.
Yeah, Walrix still getting low. He has the Unending Resolve, not opting to use it just yet. This is a scary moment. Gets life swept and gripped behind the pillar. Nice Ring of Peace dropped out there by FedEx. Another one dropped out there by Rezus as well. So both teams countering each other's Ring of Peace, making sure Walrix isn't going to get full value out of that. Rezus can drop his Ring of Peace and just knock Walrix right out of it, so he's no longer safe in that ability. Rezus is in a lot of trouble, though, with no Touch of Karma, no Diffuse Magic. You can tell he's playing very defensive, very safe. There we go. The Life Cocoon gets dropped out by Numliz as well. We're going to have to see Rezus have good port positioning here if he wants to keep himself alive.
See FedEx swapping to Numliz as Rezus was evasively avoiding all of his attacks, so that is a good move. If the target you're trying to hit starts to run away, just hit something closer, and that's usually the best move when playing with a Destruction Warlock, because the Warlock just can't keep up with the target if it gets too far away. So it's a smart decision by FedEx there to put pressure in multiple places, and as the healers become taxed on mana, that can create kill windows for your team. Both teams equal on mana at this point in the match. Cooldowns equaling out as well. No massive lead for either side on game 2. However, Walrus secures a spell lock 2 seconds away, 1 second away from staying alive, and now able to, if the trade is necessary, with anti-magic zone placed here, this purple shield reducing damage. Rezus wants to hold on to more defense rather than trading it out and overlapping, but Numliz commits the life cocoon regardless during this incoming fear, which now allows him to stay aggressive and pull a Spirit Link totem from Lontar, but still lots of damage as both teams continue swinging. Huge cooldowns were traded out in that exchange, equalizing the battle. However, now Numliz getting caught on his trinket with a stun. Walrus is still low. Way of the Crane does tons of damage, and if they can't deflect this, it could be dire. Earthen Wall Totem seems to be more than enough, though.
Yeah, Walrus going to be using the Ring of Peace and the Earthen Shield Totem in order to survive. It was a nice play from Numliz. He got interrupted, and really the only thing you can do in that situation is try to avoid damage with your paralysis or with your leg sweep. So he cheat torpedoed in, leg sweep everyone, and that sort of froze his team's HP, buying him some time. Rezus getting bursted down. Touch of Death was used by FedEx. Rezus manages to kite away across the entire map, spamming out the Vivifies to stay alive. FedEx trying to get there to help him out, but yes, Dave, with the Chains of Ice, will slow FedEx down. Rezus keeps himself alive. That was a close call for Plot Twist, but nice kites from Rezus, keeps himself alive.
Yeah, Rezus is easily the MVP for Plot Twist. Maybe the entire tournament, constantly avoiding death, setting up kills for his team, but now in this position, things might get awkward. Numliz gets hexed on his Way of the Crane, ends up breaking to damage though, unfortunately. Now a leg sweep though, and Rezus is just going to get dropped in game number 2. Walrus is back and ready to play. Plot Twist look to try and steal it
out of this matchup, but head-to-head, I feel like Group Therapy definitely has an advantage.
I respect this so much, though. Like, this is not an easy thing to do if you're Yes Dave. He's going to step right to one of the kings of Warlocks, and he's going to try to take him down right here.
I mean, this is what everybody at home can do as well if you're interested in signing up. It's open sign up, so if you want to try and take a shot at your idol, you'll have your opportunity. Of course, Yes Dave is a veteran arena player, qualifying to the European Championship last year, but now diversifying onto tons of classes. However, he may have spread himself too thin, and facing the Lord of Destruction, Walrus himself, may be the final nail in the coffin here as Group Therapy look to close this series 3-0.
Well, let's consider one thing. I mean, this is not an exact mirror. You have Numliz on the Mistweaver Monk and Lontar on the Resto Shaman, and I feel like against the Destruction Warlock, the Restoration Shaman is going to be a lot more effective. You have Grounding Totem to soak up some of those Chaos Bolts. You have Wind Shear to interrupt the Chaos Bolts, and in addition to that, you also have the Tremor Totem to deny fears. So I feel like the Shaman head-to-head has the advantage over the Mistweaver Monk in this particular matchup, but maybe Numliz can pull ahead in terms of mana if it does go late.
All right, crowd control secured on Numliz by Lontar. That Hex is quite an extended crowd control, and he hasn't been able to heal for some time. That forces a trade by Yes Dave, but FedEx is just tearing him apart. At the same time, Walrus is getting torn apart. Both Windwalkers dealing huge damage early on against their counterparts, but Walrus gets out ahead, not having to commit his unending resolve. And I would say pressure is slowly mounting more and more in favor of Group Therapy. Let's see what they can do here. They looked strong in the first series, closing it out against Tempo Storm, and they're looking just as strong here against Plot Twist.
Yeah, just little things in this matchup are going to add up so much. Yes, Dave using his Nether Ward, Walrus realizing that he had it, stopped the Chaos Bolt, didn't get it reflected. Just earlier on, Yes Dave's Chaos Bolt did get reflected by Walrus, so those little things in the matchup are definitely going to add up huge in terms of the late game. Lontar now getting counterspelled. Walrus could still be in some trouble. And so far in this matchup, Yes Dave's been playing a lot more defensive, opting to play on top of the pillar. Walrus pushing in, trying to play a little bit more aggressive, but that aggressive positioning could end up biting him in this matchup. Lontar trying to keep him alive with the Earthen Shield Totem. Numliz still easily healing up Yes Dave. Walrus just taking so much damage. We really need to see more pressure coming in from Group Therapy.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Rezus time and time again performing as an individual, and maybe enough here in this case to carry the team. Walrus getting shut down on that Chaos Bolt, now opting to try and get back to the pillar, but beautiful Ring of Peace denies him from doing so. Although YesDave isn't able to really get any advantage of that. He's just pinned down by FedEx. Both Warlocks having a difficult time just simply even moving in line of sight of each other. Walrus gets locked down. YesDave tries to get aggressive here with the Chaos Bolt. Connects 1-2 Walrix. Now the double Mortal Coil. Good crowd control initiated by YesDave. Now Walrix looking to reverse it. Banishing up the Fell Hunter to freely cast some Chaos Bolts. One connects. YesDave ducks for cover, and with Numliz backing him up, should easily restore back to full health. And taking stock of mana, we're completely even, moving closer to dampening. I think the X factor in this match is going to be Lone Tar, and whether or not he can secure hexes on Numliz later in the game.
Yeah, but Lone Tar is taking such a defensive position. I think he's actually going for a drink here. Sits down, completely regenerates his mana, so that's a good start for group therapy. Numliz at around 70% mana at this point in the game, but in terms of pressure, both FedEx and Walrus rotting down low. Touch of death committed by FedEx as he's looking to take down YesDave, who still does not have his unending resolve. This is the Infernals as well coming in from Walrus, so they're really trying to get aggressive, but with this defensive positioning YesDave has, he's able to easily line of sight Walrus Chaos Bolts and really limit the amount of damage he's able to put out.
Rezu's actually touch of karma that Chaos Bolt redirected the damage, and YesDave backs him up with 2 of his own, managing to pull an ending resolve from Walrix in a huge turnaround moment for Plot Twist as they keep up the momentum. Is the Lord of Destruction going to fall here in game number 3? It looks like he's going to start to stabilize, but still a close call, and Plot Twist shows signs of life in game 3.
Yep, Walrix trying to find some damage, turning around the pressure just a little bit, forcing Numliz back to the pillar. That's what we want to see. Lone Tar now with a decent amount of mana, actually falling behind once again. Mistweaver Monks are doing surprisingly well in terms of mana efficiency and throughput in this particular meta. Double coil coming out from Walrix onto Rezus, onto YesDave. Can he find any damage? No, he cannot. YesDave responds with his own Immortal Coil, looking for some fears, looking for some Chaos Bolts on Walrix. Walrix gets interrupted. 2 Chaos Bolts land. Walrix in so much trouble right now. Lone Tar has to trinket out, potentially throw out the Spearling Totem as well, but no interrupts available. He's able to free cast some healing waves and keep Walrix stable.
The match is swinging in favor of Plot Twist. There's a mana advantage, there's a cooldown advantage, and there's a pressure that's starting to mount that we haven't seen throughout this series. Potentially, YesDave's Warlock is going to take out the legendary Walrix here. Dampening has started. That's going to be reducing the incoming healing. Walrix has been taking an aggressive stance in terms of his position throughout this, a bit maybe of a bad manner positioning against YesDave's Warlock, and maybe cost them, and he manages to get a quick getaway, bounced back by the Ring of Peace. YesDave walking forward. A couple Chaos Bolts might clutch out a kill. Walrix fears away Rezus. That annoyance for him is now off of his back, and he's able to get some cast. Nice Nether Ward on YesDave's Chaos Bolt. I like these banishes on the Fell Hunter as well, so Walrix doesn't need to deal with being interrupted. Definitely playing at the skill cap here on the Destruction Warlock. Lone Tar, in the meantime, managed to reset his mana, and that advantage is now lost for Plot Twist as group therapy played out for the long game.
And look at YesDave. He actually relayed his gateway right on top of Walrix, just opting to play aggressive. No longer scared and hiding at the pillar. Wants to play toe-to-toe with Walrix. Full stun now on Lone Tar. He doesn't have a trinket available. Numliz has to port out of line of sight, as it looks like Rezus and YesDave looking to get some pressure, or sorry, looks like FedEx and Walrix able to get some pressure onto Numliz, who's now caught into a full stun. Fist of Fury on Numliz, a lot of pressure. Walrix getting low. 2 Chaos Bolts land. Lone Tar caught into a fear, into a leg sweep as they group up. Spearling Totem has to be dropped out by Lone Tar to keep his team alive.
That was spicy by YesDave. He used Unending Resolve, which is normally used to reduce damage, but it makes you immune to interrupts. So he went for it. He's like, I'm just going to cast Chaos Bolts and kill Walrix right now. Overcommits his defensive to get a kill, but didn't get it. Now he's overextended. They're on the hunt for the kill. Numliz is interrupted. YesDave on the ropes. Any crowd control on Numliz could close this match out, as YesDave takes a huge risk on match point.
Potentially YesDave getting a little bit cocky here in this matchup with a good start, but it might end up paying off. Dark Soul is used. Walrix still low. Unending Resolve now available for Walrix, so in terms of cooldowns, therapy definitely has the advantage. Nether Ward going to be reflecting some damage. YesDave caught onto the wall right now, trying to avoid some of this incoming damage from Walrix. If he can get a Chaos Bolt off, YesDave's going to be in a lot of trouble. Numliz opting to trade out the Life Cocoon to keep him alive. Full Hex secured by Lone Tar. Numlis does have a trinket, but he doesn't have too much healing to fall back on, and Walrix just can't get in line of sight of Dave.
These hexes by Lontar could easily close the game out for his team, but it's a risky maneuver. He has to get inside enemy territory, open his School of Magic that is also his healing spells. If he gets interrupted on it, he can't heal, so it's a huge risk, but I think it's a risk he needs to take for Group Therapy to finally put Plot Twist down and end their story. Will they be able to do it? Now it's the question. We see crowd control on Numlis with the paralysis capacitator totem into a hex. Good crowd control. Looks solid. Numlis is out of line of sight. No, he's moved back in line of sight of Dave, now starting to stabilize, but Walrix has all the cooldowns. Group Therapy has most of the mana and a significant lead moving deeper into dampening.
Yep, Walrus getting knocked out of that Earthen Shield totem. Nice Ring of Peace usage by Rezus as he's caught into the fear, and Walrus looking to push in and get this game going, getting some damage onto Dave potentially, but both of these Warlocks have just been line of sighting each other so much in this matchup. It really is up to the Windwalker monks to make sure they're getting as much damage as possible. Walrus with a nice Nether Ward there actually reflects the Gladiator's Maledict, that healing reduction and damage. That was a nice play.
All right, there's the Hex secured onto Numlis, but Dave immediately retreats into a good position, and Dave has exploited a lot of good corners on this map that I have not seen a ton of players utilize. That one in the far to the right side earlier on, now repositioned at the pillar, connecting tons of damage. Walrix in danger, no Spirit Link totem. Walrix is just going to keep up the chase, but gets knocked away. The Maledix connects regardless. Numlis is crowd controlled. Dave in desperation mode, fears up FedEx, drops his Dark Soul. I would like to see a Chaos Bolt casted during this. Dave throwing that cooldown away if he's not able to get one. Manages to find it. That Chaos Bolt could close. Walrix down so dangerously low. There's nothing left for him. 17 more seconds, but he's just going to go for the kill. It's a Chaos Bolt bonanza to potentially close out this fight. Numlis gets stun locked. Both Warlocks low, but Dave has Life Cocoon to protect him, and the Lord of Destruction could possibly falter.
Yeah, Walrix does manage to stabilize. Nice heals coming in from Lone Tar, who still has his Spirit Link and his Trinket, so Group Therapy always has that to fall back on. Dave in a lot of trouble with the Unending Resolve, though. Got to be feeling a little bit guilty, but he's getting low. He gets locked out. He can't activate the cooldown. Incapacitate on Numlis. Dave trying to run and hide for his life. Numlis finally reconnects the heals onto Dave to keep him alive. What a scary moment. Risky plays.
I've never seen Warlocks go toe-to-toe like this and saying, mine is going to kill you. No, mine is going to kill you, and they just keep casting, even if they're at 10%. Walrix is casting a Chaos Bolt at 10% right in front of the enemy team. Is he going to stay alive? Lontar doesn't have Spirit Link. He's so low and ultimately going to get taken out by the newcomer. Dave. A little bit unbelievable, but he's done it.
Yep, game number 4. Group Therapy just one match away from closing out this series and sending Plot Twist home. Plot Twist looking to deny. Ring of Peace on the demonic gateway of Walrix. Nicely done by Rezus. I really like how aggressive Rezus is in these matchups as the Windwalker monk. Like Sid was saying, he was a playmaker for his team in the last game, really keeping up the consistent pressure on Walrix.
All right, former teammates. Lontar goes head-to-head with Rezus. Definitely, I would say, the top performers for their teams respectively, but now they have to battle each other for their tournament lives. The loser of this series will be knocked out of the tournament, limiting their point earnings quite heavily, and you need those points to qualify to the spring finals after this 6-cup series. 6 back-to-back cups. It's going to be insane as these teams get better and better. Changes are made. Adaptations will have to be taken. Dave goes head-to-head with Walrix's Warlock and manages to put a point on the board, but now Group Therapy look to lead the charge.
Yep, Rezus activating the Diffuse Magic. I think he used it just to get out of a root to make sure he could stay on target, and I like that aggression. Like I said in this matchup, Walrix taking an offensive position right now in the midfield. Dave looking for some Chaos Bolts. Good pressure on Walrix right now. In terms of mana, healers are relatively even. Walrix activates his Nether Ward, looking to reflect some damage. Looking for a Shadow Fury and a Chaos Bolt. Dave caught into the open. Another Ring of Peace gets used, but this is the touch of death onto Dave. FedEx putting out a lot of pressure here, but I feel like Numlis is going to be able to heal through this. Actually, it's interrupted. Maybe not. Dave interrupted. Both Warlocks in a lot of trouble right now.
Yeah, crowd control secured onto both Lontar and Numlis, and with Chaos Bolts being casted and your healer in crowd control unable to heal through it, it is quite a scary moment for both sides, but Plot Twist starts swinging back with crowd control on 2 members. Walrix is isolated. Yes, Dave is just going to town at this point, and Walrix really needs to start developing some counter pressure. This is where I think it's so important to know how much damage exactly is Rezus and FedEx doing respectively, because Walrix is the one who seems to be so far behind, but here's the advantage that Lontar brings on the Shaman. That Hex, Numla's brought out of the fight for 8 seconds. That was an opportunity now for Group Therapy to force more defensive cooldowns, but just not finding it.
Yes, Dave looking for a Chaos Bolt. Ring of Peace comes in a little bit too late. Walrix taking quite a bit of damage. The Mortal Coil comes in, looking for a Fear, looking for some additional damage as well. But Numla so far has just been able to easily heal through all of this pressure. His mana is even with Lontar. Both teams looking to do essentially the same thing. Just have Windwalker Monks pressure down the Warlocks. Warlocks look for spells when they can. Healers play as efficiently as possible in terms of defensive. Both teams are very healthy right now. Dark Soul gets dropped out by Yes Dave. Walrix getting lower as he's knocked out of line of sight of Lontar for a second. Numlish pushing in, gets the paralysis into a Fear on the Lontar, Fear on Numlish as well. Lots of crowd control for both teams. Walrix getting low. Yes Dave gets interrupted. Now looking for a Chaos Bolt potentially in this game. Mortal Coil into a Fear. Can he get off the cast that he needs? Walrix out of line of sight. He has to gate back. Back in line of sight of Lontar to his side of the map, playing much more defensive this game.
Normally Grounding Totem is a huge advantage, but I think the Mistweaver's single target healing throughput is just way more favorable, and the short cooldown Life Cocoon as well is paying dividends for Plot Twist, and Mistweaver might actually have the upper hand overall in this match, in particular because the pressure has been so much more so in favor of Plot Twist. Finally, a Hex on Numlas manages to get Gladiator's Medallion from him, so he will not be able to remove one, but it's still swinging in favor. Yes, Dave pops that Unending Resolve aggressively again to take down Walrix. He's so low. Lontar's crowd control. They need a Spearling Totem likely soon. Lontar tries to hold on to it, but he's powering through so much damage. Rezus rolls over for an interrupt. Lontar doesn't fall for it. Now connecting some healing waves and saving the day, but falling behind a man. Nice Tremor Totem. Lontar saw that Fear, put Tremor Totem down to break out that incoming crowd control and stay in the fight. Both of these Warlocks are unafraid to take risks. Just one Chaos Bolt could take their life, and they're battling it out for their tournament lives.
Yeah, Yes Dave playing ultra aggressive there, using his Unending Resolve, and now he doesn't have that to fall back on. Like you said, if Walrix can get one nice Chaos Bolt, looking for one now, fakes out the Nether Ward from Yes Dave. Yes Dave gets interrupted. Numla into a Hex. Walrus gets interrupted on his damage. Yes Dave's still really low. The Life Cocoon will save the day once again. Numla should be able to top off his teammate here in this game, but Yes Dave taking a huge risk by using that Unending Resolve, putting cooldowns in favor of Group Therapy.
All right, mana not looking good on either side of these both teams. Now Rezus with Touch of Death rolling could do huge damage to Walrix. Earthen Wall Totem is protecting him, but that may not even be enough. Multiple Chaos Bolts, Nether Ward by Walrix, deflecting that one back onto Yes Dave. Yes Dave at position to be able to line of sight, and Walrix isn't. Walrix in midfield has nowhere to go when Yes Dave casts Chaos Bolt. The position advantage is in favor of Yes Dave. He's playing the corners far better than Walrix. I would like to see Walrix reposition into a more opportune location. Maledix is absorbing a lot of healing on Walrix. Lontar taxes the mana to remove that and hopefully connect some heals, but it's starting to snowball out of control. Walrix takes control of the fight for a couple seconds, sneaks in a Chaos Bolt, not doing really enough damage though, and Lontar just falling more and more behind on pressure.
Yeah, Walrix still in a lot of trouble. Lontar has a lot of work ahead of him if he wants to top him off. It's going to be difficult, especially at this point in dampening. I guess it's not that deep in dampening right now. Walrus gets Mortal Coiled away. Yes Dave looking for a Chaos Bolt to close out the game. Paralysis comes in from Vedex, throwing in some Vivifies as well. Just trying to help his team as much as he can. Walrus is so far behind. Shaman healing just seems a little bit inferior to the Mistweaver Monk right now in terms of single target pressure. Yes Dave finds a Chaos Bolt, double leg sweep coming in from FedEx to keep Walrix alive. Counter pressure now on Yes Dave. 2 Chaos Bolts from Walrix. Yes Dave really low with an interrupt on to Numlas. Nicely done by Walrix setting up his team. Numlas forced to trinket out as well. He does have the revival, but no Life Cocoon for another 15 seconds. He needs to try to find some healing. Nice Ring of Peace by FedEx, knocking them up, splitting them up, and now Yes Dave is all by himself, getting wind sheared by Lontar. Lontar, if he can sneak in a Hex here, they can take him down. Yes Dave, this is it. Can they stay alive? Life Cocoon comes in the nick of time to keep him alive in this matchup.
Yeah, the Hex got the Gladiator's Medallions from Numliz, but they continued the chain. Unfortunately, a valiant effort is not rewarded with a kill. Group Therapy were seconds away from victory and advancing in the lower bracket, but in defiance, Plot twist, stay alive. Now pressure on Walrix. Yes, Dave raining down terror. Spirit Link Totem is forced to be traded. The cooldowns are faltering. The mana has faded. Dampening is ramping higher and higher. And Walrix is still just falling more and more behind. This could end up just being Chaos Bolt trade after trade to see who takes down who in the final seconds, potentially here shortly. The mana is just completely tapped. Ring of Peace interrupts some of the damage, but now Walrix gets bounced right back. Yes, Dave is low. Walrix is low. It's still anyone's match. Yes, Dave goes aggressive with that unending resolve. Walrix has to trade in reverse. Chaos Bolts are flying, and shortly somebody is going to be dying. Life Cocoon pauses the fight for a few more seconds. Lone Tar does not have that same luxury. Yes, Dave is looking to put 2 points on the board against the respective Destruction Master. How is Walrix going to stay alive? Bashing up the Fell Hunter, fearing up the DPS, looking to squeeze it. He nether wards the Chaos Bolt. Yes, Dave on fire, quite literally, reflecting these bolts back and forth, and there's nothing left for Walrix.
Yeah, Walrix in a lot of trouble. Lone Tar, how are you going to keep him alive? He needs to avoid some damage. Cap Totem onto Yes Dave as he looks for one more Chaos Bolt to close out this game. Numless has the mana to keep Yes Dave alive. Walrix getting aggressive. Big heal coming in from Lone Tar. The last little bit of his mana was used. Demon Soul by Walrix. If he can get one Chaos Bolt, they can end this game. There's the full Hex. Group therapy. Can they do it? And Walrix finds the game-winning Chaos Bolt on Yes Dave, closing out this series 3-1.
You know, it's pretty brutal to be going in. Feed versus the fake Zebras. We're all tied up 1-1. Who is going to find themselves on match point? Who is going to get a little bit further into this tournament? Keep in mind, folks, we're doing a brand new thing. You have just entered in the middle of history. The longest series that has ever been played in Battle for Azeroth.